Hi, everyone. This is Caroline with the Expat Interviews Thriving Abroad, where we go all over the globe to find the most amazing people that are not only living, but thriving abroad. And some of them are doing absolutely amazing things. And I'm always excited to share their stories with you. And today, of course, I'm super excited to share a story of a young lady that you're going to just be so moved and motivated by what she has done in her short time here on this earth. Welcome, Onélica Andrade.
Thank you, Caroline. Hello, everyone.
So we'll just get right into your expat story. You are originally from Venezuela.
Yeah, I was born in Venezuela. My parents met there. Actually, my mom is from Spain. My dad spent most of his life in the US, and he just had gone back to work in Venezuela. And that's where they met, and that's where myself and my sister were born. And up till we grew up there till we were teenagers. Well, I was a teenager. My sister was getting to the teenage years, and the situation in Venezuela, the political situation was very tense. My dad started to get a bit stressed out about the situation, and he started thinking, let's go to the States. He had lived most of his life in the States, so that was home to him. And we decided to, my parents decided to move over, and I was 15, and so it was a tough one to be moved from everything when you're a teenager. I appreciate it now, but back then I was just not too thrilled by the idea of let's go and let's start all over and with a new language and everything. Like, oh, okay. So yeah, we moved to a small town called Davis in California. It's really close to Sacramento. If anyone knows a bit about the States and about California, it's next to the state capital. Yeah, small town there.
How was your English when you moved?
I think I took classes, and my dad would always speak to us in English, because the funny thing with my dad is he was born in Venezuela, but he moved at such a young age to the States that he had a strong accent when he spoke Spanish, and everyone thought he was a foreigner. And he'll speak to us in English as well, so that would attract attention. So at least spoken English and like listening comprehension was pretty good, but then the writing and having to actually have classes in English, it was tough. Huh?
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Overall, though, would you say your experience growing up in the US was positive for the most part? Because I'm assuming back then Venezuela was a pretty stable country at the time that when you were growing up.
Yeah, and then the situation got worse. But I think there's always been some insecurity. And it wasn't completely safe to go out, and as a teenager you start wanting to be on your own and not have to have your parents at all times. And I think the experience in the US, it was tough at the beginning, but it was a good one in the way that I felt like I had more freedom to go around, to do things, and my parents were not as worried. So that was a good experience. And also I grew up a lot. Yes, just being moved from your native country to another country, you just grow up, you mature very quickly, you realize and notice differences much quicker than others. And I think overall it was a very positive experience, and throughout it I think I grew a lot, and I made great friends and learned a lot about myself and about the US, my host country, that became home, and also learned a lot about Venezuela from being from afar. Yeah.
That's important that you really learn a lot from it.
Yeah.
So now, once that expatness has sunken in, you've decided to be an expat all over again.
I know. Yeah. Once the US felt like home, and I was used to things, and I had friends, and I knew where everything was. I had that itch of coming to Europe. As I mentioned before, my mom is from Spain, so I always had that itch of let's check it out. How are things over there on that other side of the world? And I had applying for a few times to the European Commission, so the European institutions, the whole European countries come together on what we call the European Union, and there's all the institutions that take care of the different policies. So I had been applying for it for a while, and then I got a phone call, I think a few years after I sent applications, saying, hey, we would like to have you over. Can you do a maternity cover? It won't be long. And knowing that it wasn't long, but I kind of wanted to try it out, I just gave it a try, and I came to Belgium, and I've been here since 2016. So it's been 5 years now.
I've heard stories about that when of people that it's just going to be for a month, or it's just going to be for a few weeks, and then a few weeks turn into a few years. That's
no,
such
mine
a
was
cool
supposed
story.
to be 6 months. It was a short maternity cover. You go, you do it, you see how it is, you come back, and yeah, I'm still here.
And how do you like you've been there a while now. How has it been for you, Belgium, overall?
Overall, I think it's been a fun country to live in. It's very different from the States, and it's a mixture, because the beauty of Belgium is that there's different cultures coming together. Not only is an expat hub, because there's a lot of, not only the European institutions, there are international organizations too. There are huge companies here. So they attract a lot of people from around the world. So you don't feel like you're there outside. There's a nice mixture already of people coming together. And then Belgium itself is quite divided between the French-speaking community and the Dutch-speaking community as well. So Belgium itself is also a mixture of cultures. So it's a nice experience to not feel like you're the outsider, and to always be part of the mix rather than the addition to.
Do you feel overall this is home for indefinite amount of time, or do you think that expat itch is gonna come back in again at one point?
It might come back. I think I gotta be honest. My parents are still in California, and I feel like I should maybe get closer, especially after the COVID pandemic. Yeah. It's like, it's been nice to be an expat, but it would be also nice to be much closer to them, because flying and everything got really hard last year and this year. So maybe I'll get the itch to go back for a bit. But I think it's nice to explore a different country for a bit.
Yep, it sure is. So now that you have been in Belgium, you didn't let any grass grow under your feet. You have actually blossomed into this, amazing representative, and it's really exciting what you're doing for the Latino community, especially. And we have to talk about it. So you were recently elected the chair of the Global Hispanic Caucus for the Democrats Abroad organization, which I guess in this last election, they really played a pivotal role in the election. So congratulations. I mean,
Thank you.
I don't think you can get any higher than that in the Global Caucus. So that's awesome. How has it been for you so far?
It's been really exciting. I think I was recently actually appointed. I wasn't elected. I was appointed by the global chair of the Democrats Abroad. It's been just a few weeks, and we're gearing up to do Hispanic Heritage Month, which starts tomorrow. So if anyone is listening to this, tune in, check out what we're doing for Hispanic Heritage Month. And then with Democrats Abroad, I found it because I mentioned I came here in 2016, and 2016 is the year that Trump got into the presidency. And I felt like I wanted to get more involved. I wanted to do something, but I was far away. And I started Googling, and I found Democrats Abroad, and I quickly got engaged. There's chapters in every single country. So if anyone is considering to move abroad, don't worry. There's usually a group of Democrats Abroad out there. They can help you register to vote. The main aim is getting people registered and getting people to vote, because some people, when they move abroad, they have no idea they can still vote, and you don't lose that right. There's some countries, other countries, where you lose a right if you move abroad. The US is not one of them. So you have every single right to carry on voting, and Democrats Abroad helps with that. And it also has a non-partisan branch, Vote from Abroad, that can help. So if you're not a Democrat, or you're undecided, or you're a Republican, they'll also, the organization will be very, very happy to help you vote, because that's the main point of having expats and people living abroad vote. And being the chair of the Hispanic Caucus is great. We represent the Latinos and Latinas that have moved abroad. And we not only want to mobilize the vote, we also want to advocate for issues that affect our community back home and abroad as well. And we're seeing a lot of voting rights issues lately. And that's the kind of things that we're focusing on, not only getting people to vote, but also being very vigilant that our community still has the right to vote, and to increase that right rather than just see it diminish.
I'm glad we're having this conversation, because a lot of people are unaware, maybe, or they don't realize that there are a lot of repats, Latino repats, I guess. They left their home country, then they grew up in the US, or they were born in the US of expat parents. And now they're spread, all over the globe. How many would you say are active well, not necessarily active, but how many would you say that you are connected, that you touch in abroad?
Well, that's a tough one to keep track, because we are Americans abroad. We have an estimated number of 9 million. But that's an estimated number, because if you're a dual national, so as you were saying, those that were born somewhere else and then also moved to the States, so they might be US citizens, but also nationals from another country, those are not counted. So that 9 million is just probably a small number compared to the actual number of Americans abroad. And when it comes to the Latinos, it is a tough one. I know that earlier numbers from our caucus were around 2,000 members, but I'm sure there are way more of Latinos abroad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good. So, what are what is your main function, with the organization? I know you said you're doing this event coming up, the Hispanic Month. What are some of the other activities that you do with the organization for the Latinos?
I think we're really active on helping out find dual citizens and those that are American citizens but feel more comfortable speaking in Spanish, because a lot of the outreach from Democrats Abroad has been very focused on the English language.
Yep.
And we do realize that there's a lot of citizens that might speak English, but they're more comfortable speaking Spanish. So one of the things that we're doing now is a huge drive to help out, especially our colleagues in Mexico and in Central America, to help them reach out those communities that, those border communities that they come and go, that some of their relatives were born in the US, some not, but they're all back in Mexico, or some are scattered around Central America or somewhere else in the world. We're trying to do a huge push for that. And our main role, I'm in Belgium, so unfortunately I cannot go to Mexico, to Central America to knock on those doors and have that personal contact, but we're really helping with all the Spanish material they need, because our people in Mexico are the ones having the in-person contact, and we're just providing all the Spanish materials and coming out with ideas of how else can we reach out to them. This kind of interviews or radio interviews and everything else can raise awareness about the fact that Democrats Abroad exists, that even if you have that US passport in the drawer and you thought I just use it to go to the States and that's it, well, you can also vote. And sometimes people say, well, but I'm not planning to go back, I'm going to be an expat for life, I'm done. But the fact is that many of us have still family back home, we have friends. And something else that one of our members wrote, and I had heard it before, but it just reminded me of this. The thing is that when the US sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold. So even if you you cut all your links and ties with the US, it's still a world power. It still influences a lot of what will happen in whatever in the world you are. So it is still a motivation to vote. Because and I could see it, a lot of my Belgian friends, neighbors, they were so pleased and they were so eager to help with elections last year, because they're not Americans, they're never going to move to the US, but they care about this because they knew the influence it had in their lives, in their country.
Sure. Do you encourage bipartisan participation
We do.
Because some may feel, well, you're just leaning one side or the other,
Yeah.
but can we be bipartisan abroad?
Yeah, I mean, well, Democrats Abroad itself has Democrats part, so there's no, it's a partisan organization, but there's vote from abroad. And when we go to register people, when we go to campus orientation sessions, or we are out in the street, we usually don't go with the Democrats Abroad, we go through vote from abroad, and vote from abroad is non-partisan. So we just register voters. It doesn't matter what party they're sympathized with, and you don't even need to have to be sympathizing with a party, because some people are just independent. They don't want to go with one or the other. Yes, we do have this vote from abroad branch, and you can find it if you're curious about it. It's votefromabroad.org, and you'll see that there's nothing partisan about it. It just helps you register to vote, and it's catered to expats. It's catered to those living abroad, because we are covered through a different part of the law, and we have different rights while being abroad and the way we register to vote.
Real quick, I saw, I was looking through some of your material, and you have a chisme check-in, and I thought that was so cute. Could you just, what is that, the chisme check-in?
Sure. Well, it was actually one of our members, Brooke, who is of Mexican heritage. She came up with it. We were trying to come up with something, because the Asian American and Pacific Islanders Caucus has the tea time, because tea is something that unites all their cultures. And we're like, okay, what unites all of our, as Latinos, Hispanic? We thought of coffee, cafecito, but then we're like, wait, chisme. Chicken. So chisme is gossip, which, it could have a bad connotation, but in our culture, it's just a fun thing, and it embraces a bit how we are. Like, we like to chit chat and talk a bit. So this chisme chicken, we try to have it at least once a month, and it's just a very informal meeting, or just come in and it doesn't need to be gossip, but you can share gossip. But it's just, tell us about yourself, and how's your week, and let's learn about each other. And also we try to do it sometimes in Spanish, because a lot of the feedback from our members is that they miss being in the States and listening to Spanish and different Spanish accents. Because sometimes as an expat, and here in Belgium, I mostly hear Spanish from Spain, but that's it. Well, in the States, you have all these accents from Latin America. So sometimes it's just a nice gathering and listening up to the different slangs and accents in Spanish.
Okay, Madam Chair, how can we connect with you or the organization if we would like to get involved or just get more information? Please tell us.
Sure. With the organization is democratsabroad.org. You'll find the page, and you can quickly navigate. You'll find that there's almost in every single country in the world, there's a committee or there's some sort of activity of Democrats Abroad. It's specific to the Hispanic Caucus. You can look in the page on the democratsabroad.org/HC, so Hispanic Caucus, or you can write to me at hispaniccaucus@democratsabroad.org. Yeah, I welcome any feedback, any questions you may have. And if you're an American abroad, whether you're of Latino heritage or not, you're welcome to join. Please reach out. We'll be thrilled to have you and to help you vote, and also to walk you through other issues that you might be facing. I know taxation is also an issue, so do reach out, because Democrats Abroad is also fighting hard to try to sort out the complicated taxation system we face when we're abroad.
Good news, good news. Thank you so much, Onélica, for sharing a few moments with us. And I will leave a link below the video with all of the, I'll leave the links below so folks can reach out to you and get more information.
Wonderful.
All the best. And you have your work cut out for you, but I know you're going to do an amazing job and continue to serve the Latino community abroad. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Caroline. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.